So today I'm going to show you how to edit your photographs for our photorealistic portrait project. And once you've submitted your photos that you'd like for me to look at, and I've sort of helped you narrow it down and choose which one you should use for this project, you can then go in and start to edit it and get it ready to work with. I'm going to show you two different ways that you can do that today. You can either do that directly on your cell phone, or you can do it using Pixlr.com, and I'm going to show you both of those ways. So if you're going to complete this on your phone, the first thing you want to do is go into your photos and open up the image that you're going to work with. So I'm just going to demonstrate this on an old photograph of myself that I took last year, just to kind of show you. I think this one will work well because I feel like it's got good lighting and it doesn't have a really busy, complicated background. So I think this one will work okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the edit features. And right off the bat, I usually just like to hit the auto fix feature. Pretty much every phone is going to have that, and that tends to work pretty well. You can manually adjust the brightness and the contrast if you want to sort of adjust those yourself, but you don't want to overdo it and wash things out too much. You don't really want to go crazy with that, but you can make some manual adjustments if you need to. Pretty much brightness and contrast are the two things that you want to worry about. But you can adjust other things. If you need to increase the shadows, lighten or darken things, you can make some modifications yourself. But now once you've got that to a pretty good place, I want you to switch it over to your phone to the recolor section. And every phone may be a little bit different. But for this one, you've got lots of different sort of options and filters that you can use. And I want you to look for the filters that are black and white. Now my phone has 3 different options, and each one is going to be really different. It's going to really change the sort of quality and characteristics of the image. And you can really sort of pick out which one you like the best. I think that one is going to be the best one for this image. I like that it still highlights a lot of shadows on my face, makes my face look more three-dimensional. That one makes it look a little bit flatter. And I like that the background is a little bit darker, and I think it gives a little bit more of a value pop than that first one. So I think that that's the option that I like. Now, once you've got that, the next thing that you're going to do is go into the crop section. So we need to crop your picture to a specific ratio, and every phone may look a little bit different. Mine is up here at the top right hand corner when I go into the rotating and the cropping section. And that's going to allow me to change the format. And I want everyone to choose a 3:4 ratio to crop your image. You can adjust it between horizontal and vertical if you need to, and you can scale it in. You can move your picture around and change it within that scale. Whatever you need to do for this picture. So, I mean, I could zoom in a good bit more and get rid of some of that negative space in the background. I sort of like that composition, because if you look at the rule of thirds, that little grid line, my eyes land right there on that upper line of the rule of thirds. You can really think out your composition and shift things around if you want. I think I'll scale out a little bit more. So maybe right about there. I think that looks pretty good. But really experiment with your composition, because that can make a big difference in how successful your photograph and your resource picture works. And once you have it cropped to a 3:4 ratio, you've turned it to black and white, and you've adjusted the brightness and contrast where it's got really nice contrast for your image, you're going to select done. And that's going to save your picture just like that, and that's what we're going to work with. So the next way that you can choose to edit your photograph is working on a computer using the Pixlr.com website. If you go to Pixlr.com, you're going to click the Pixlr X just like normal and open your image. You should be able to email it to yourself and download it, or upload it to your Google Drive and access it that way, whichever way is most convenient for you. And then you should be able to navigate to your images and open your file. Of course, always open it as a full HD. You want to make sure that you have the highest photo quality that you can get, because we want these to be really sharp in focus images, because we're going to be going into really, really extreme detail with this project. So we don't want blurry or out of focus or pixelated images. We want really good, high quality images. So now once I get here, my image has just happened to turn up sideways. So over here on the left-hand side are all of your tools. I'm going to go to the first section of properties and rotate my canvas just to get it going in the correct direction. And then we're going to do all those same steps again. We're going to edit the adjustments for it. Again, you can auto fix. It's a great quick trick to help you, or you can manually adjust the brightness, the contrast, all that sort of good stuff. So again, just play around with what you think will work best with your image. And then the next step is to turn it to black and white. This, using Pixlr.com, I don't think you have quite as many options as I did on my cell phone, but right here at the top, under the adjustments, I can change this to a black and white photograph. And if I want to make more adjustments once I see it in black and white, I can do that. So I can sort of mess around with that, with the exposure and the contrast and all that. And so once you've made some adjustments and you've gotten it to the image that you like, we are going to crop it. And again, this has a great feature for the select aspect. Once you go under the crop, if you turn that on, you can choose the ratio of a 3:4. So mine is vertical, so I'm going to make it 3 wide and 4 tall. If you want a landscape mode image, you would do 4:3. And same thing, you can zoom it in and make adjustments. But remember, always drag that zoom from the corner and not from the sides. And then just drag that into your placement. Once you're happy with that, at the bottom, you can click Apply. And then your photo should be ready to save. Now, when you save your image, I want you to, you can change it to whatever file name you want, but I want you to take the quality and bump it all the way up to a 100%. That's going to save it as a larger file format, and download your image. Now, no matter which way you've edited your photo, whether it was done on your phone or done with Pixlr.com, I want you to go to griddrawingtool.com. And we're going to set this image up with a grid that will fit our 9x12 inch piece of paper. So go ahead and hit the green start button. You should be sort of familiar with this by now. Choose your file. Select your image. Now, if for some reason your image shows up sideways, you can rotate it. Since mine's vertical, I'm going to go ahead and skip straight to the grid. And with it in the vertical position, you can change the boxes to, we're going to make it 9 boxes wide. And you can change the color if you want. I may change it to white and see what that does. And if you want even thinner lines, you can change it to 1 pixel. But that's sort of up to you, and then click Apply Grid. I like the finer lines just because it makes it a little bit easier. I can see more of the image. And you should be able to count, and it should be 9 squares across and then 12 squares down. Now, if you have a horizontal photograph, you've done it wide ways across, landscape oriented, you're going to change that to where it's 12 boxes wide. That way it's 12 across and 9 down. So you just need to make those adjustments depending on if you have a different oriented picture with horizontal versus portrait. Once you're finished, click Download. And you're going to turn this in today. That way I can see the image that you're working with. And I recommend that you upload this image into your Google Drive. That way you always have it and can reference back to it. Don't just leave it in your downloads because sometimes those disappear and get deleted on accident. And then another thing that I recommend is that you email this photograph to yourself. That way you can get it back onto your phone. And then I want you to save this gridded version onto your phone. That way you can open it up because we're going to be working from working with our image on our phones or some device that you can lay flat on the table right beside you as you're working.